Hi, guys. Welcome to our live today. And our planning session, y'all, is going to be a good one. I get the question asked all the time, how do I teach science and social studies? So I'm going to show you how I teach science through reading today. So let's go ahead and dive in and get started. If you are new to my channel, I do not use reading curriculum. We use real life experiences to teach our lessons, or interest based, meaning that she gets to choose the topic or the books that we use to teach the reading skills. So let's go ahead and get started. The subject for today, what the skill we're focusing on, is main idea and details. So the first thing I do when I'm planning is I need to know what the skill is. So we have to, for main idea and detail, you have to figure out what something is mostly about. That's the main idea, and which details actually matter, which is supporting details. That's what we're going to be focusing on today. I also look at why it matters. So the reason that this matters the most is because in this information world that we're in right now, in this technology world, the ability to identify what matters most is an essential skill. So in addition to what the skill is, I like to focus on why the skill already also matters. So when she's applying it to real life, she'll know why we actually doing it. There are so many things that we learn or I've learned in school that I do not use. So if I don't feel like those things are essential, we don't skip them. We may touch on them or introduce them, but for the most part, I'm not going to spend my time there. But main idea and supporting details is one of those things that she's going to use. So she has to identify the focus, select the details, and explain the connection. That's what she has to do for fourth grade. So the next thing, we start with real life. So this week, our science lesson is on forces in motion. Science is not my area of expertise. I do not use a science curriculum. I have a list of all of the things, science skills, and this is the one that we're going to focus on to make it interesting. I am also project-based. I like to do experiments and projects, and that's how I like to introduce the skills. So for science, for forces in motion, we have some little mini cars that we're going to use, and we have some of these that we're going to use. So we're going on day one for the notice the skill. I am introducing not just the reading skill, but also my science lesson, which on forces in motion. So I'm going to share with you the first thing we're going to do on day one, which is going to be Monday. Let me share the video. We are going to watch this video on general science forces in motion on YouTube. It's going to go through the video. Let me give you a little bit of it. Let's see. Hope you guys can see it.
So, what is a force? In physics, a force is any kind of push or pull on an object. For instance, when I throw this dodgeball, I am exerting a force.
I'm not going to watch the whole video, but this is not my area of expertise. I did 15 years in the school system as an ELA teacher and instructional coach. So science, we're going to go find something. I'm going to pull some things to teach her. So I'm going to use this video to introduce it. And day one is about, let me go ahead and bring up back. There we go. And day one, again, is about just noticing a skill. We're going to look at things around the house. We're going to do our science activity for the day. After she looks at her video, I'm going to talk about what do you think it was mostly about? What ideas keep showing up? What parts feel important? You can do this with anything. Right now, my daughter is into Alvin and the Chipmunks. If she wants to pull up an episode, we can use that to talk about main idea. Well, what was this episode about? What ideas supported that episode and what parts made it feel important? So you can literally do this with anything. So day one, it's introducing the skill of main idea through conversation, through whatever it is that you want. In our case, we're doing it through a science lesson. And then as the day goes on, I'm going to, depend on what it is that we're doing, we love to bake. So we can do this from what's the end goal of baking, and then the details that we use to bake the muffins or whatever it is. So you can make this go with anything. That's day one, noticing the skill. Now on day two is when you really dig into it and how to teach the skill and how to model it. So what I did is I use Common Lit for my passages. No need to go and try to find something or find a curriculum or whatever. I found a passage on forces in motion. So in addition to this teaching, what forces in motion is, it's also an activity on main idea and detail. So I'm going to use this passage that I pull from Common Lit. I'm going to model my thinking. I'm going to show her how I identified the main idea and how I identified the important details. And remember that important details, where a lot of kids struggle, they like to just give you every detail, and because they don't know how to identify an important detail from just a regular detail that's in a paragraph. And I'm going to show you guys that later, how I'm going to make sure she understands that if that's somewhere we struggle. Main idea is also not a new skill that we're working on, because she's in 4th grade. We're doing 4th and 5th grade work. So it's, if I feel that she's not struggling, then I'm just going to like move on, and I'm not going to use my thinking tools, but I'm going to show them to you anyways, just in case you guys may need them. All righty. So I'm going to model. Then we are going to do it together. And then the last, on the second page, on the forces in different directions, I'm going to let her read this, and then she's going to identify the main idea, the details, and make the connection for herself. In addition to that, I like to write as many days, like to do writing every day. So we are also going to do the writing connection. So she's not going to just identify it. She's going to write about it as well. And that's on day 2. So on Tuesday, Monday, we notice the skill. We're just grappling with main idea and details. We're doing our activities with the science lesson. And on day 2, I'm modeling my thinking, what it looks like. She is doing her part, where we're going to do it together, and then she's going to do it on her own, and then she's going to write. Now on day 3, I am going to implement some thinking tools if needed. So I have 2 tools you can use. One, to identify the main idea, the details, and why it matters. And then another one, how do you identify important details versus interesting details? So important details, they are directly support the main idea, they explain the concepts, and it answers the questions. But interesting details may be something that just add color or add context or something like that. So this activity, it's a important versus interesting sort. If you do this activity, it'll help your child to identify what's the important details from just interesting details that's not really the ones that we're looking for. So on day 3, we are going to add in some thinking tools if needed. Now on Thursday, we are going to, let me share my screen. Well, my screen's already shared, but I'm going to share my Common Lit. Stop screen change. Okay, here it is. So on day, let me make it a little bigger. Yep. It's one of these. Okay, there we go. So on day 4, now this is independent work. We've already went through this passage. If you want, you can go find another passage and use it for main idea and details. But I really want her to understand the forces in motion. So I'm going to just share with you. They have a video, they have an overview. There's guiding questions. They have assessment questions. What is the main idea of the text? So we are working on main idea and details. So just showing that she's able to identify it of the text. And this also shows me that she mastered the skill if she can do it. And there's discussion questions as well. So the last thing that we do on Friday, let me bring back up. Oh, here it is. Okay. So the last thing we do on Fridays, we have a progress meeting. I'm going to share that with you guys too. I have a process that we go through. We talk about, not just academics, but her feelings, how school's working, like just to see where she is mentally. Are we doing too much? Is not enough? Or we just, it's a lot of things that we do to progress meeting. But one of those things that we do in that meeting is we talk about whether or not she mastered it or she did not master it. And this gives me the opportunity to know if I need to move on or I need to reteach it. So I have discussions. We look over our common lit work to see how she, because that's something that's graded. We look through our activities that we did for the week, and we have that conversation to see if she can verbally tell me what's the main idea, what's the details, and explain how she came about finding out these things. So that's the last thing we do is we determine what mastery looks and sounds like, and that shows me if I need to reteach it. Y'all, this is simple. This is, if you're teaching science and social studies, you don't know where to fit it in. I fit it in my reading informational lessons. It's that easy. If you are looking to do this, whether you use curriculum or you don't use curriculum, you can use this guide. It adapts to anything. I have it for reading literature, for reading informational for grades 3 to 5, and it adapts to anything you're doing. We can practice main idea throughout the week on a movie we're looking at, just anything. And it makes being able, teaching through real life experiences, teaching through interest-based text or whatever it is that she loves to do, makes my life easy. She's focused. She's excited about learning. It's stuff that she loves already. And I'm just building our lessons around it. So if that's something you're interested in, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave me a message or a comment, or you can just send me a message and I'll respond as soon as I can. In addition to that, I'm going to have clips and I'm going to show you guys what this looks like live throughout the week. So if you are not following me on Instagram or on TikTok, go ahead and do, or on Facebook, go ahead and do that, because I like to show you what these lessons actually look like live. So again, as you can see, it only takes me about 12 minutes to go through this video to bring you through my planning process. That's how long it takes to plan. And this is knocking reading and science out at the same time, y'all. So if you have any questions, again, drop me a comment and let me know where you're learning from. I mean, where you're listening from, or where you are right now, because I love to know like who I'm impacting, who I'm reaching, and what areas that I'm actually reaching. So again, thank you guys for coming to our lives. I will see you next Friday at 4 o'clock. Bye, guys.